so in love with you.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. Now, like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac is now sounding the alarm to the American people for the whiplash-like effect that's going on in our housing market right now. The Federal Reserve's actions are absolutely destroying the housing market right now, and I believe that's a sign of how weak our housing market really is because of quantitative easing, COVID, lockdowns, free money, all of those things. So now we have more and more people sounding the alarm, yet there are still so many people, they either don't think that we're in a bubble or they don't think that we're going to have any negative equity loss, which is astonishing to me and shocking to me. So hopefully you guys are spreading this news. Hopefully you're spreading the data. If you guys want more data, just go back into my channel, watch some of the videos. I like to go over the data, analyze the data, and basically make a logical conclusion about what's going to transpire in the housing market. But today we're going to read an article from Business Insider about Freddie Mac that's titled, "The U.S. housing market is seeing its worst contraction since 2006 as mortgage applications crumble," Freddie Mac economist says. Now, you guys, I'm in mortgage, and I can certainly tell you the mortgage industry right now is being absolutely crippled as far as origination. Now, if you guys can remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I am a YouTuber. My bio is in a whole bunch of things: real estate, loan officer, educator, realtor. So I absolutely love real estate, but this is my personal channel where I just share my experiences and my opinions. So please, guys, for the algorithm, please like the video, comment if you can, and subscribe if you haven't already. But let's get started on this article right now. An already punctured U.S. housing market is set to deteriorate to levels witnessed in 2006, a Freddie Mac economist tweeted Thursday. The U.S. housing market is at the beginning stages of the most significant contraction in activity since 2006. It hasn't shown up in many data series yet, but mortgage applications are pointing to a large decline over summer. Purchase apps down 40% from seasonally adjusted peak. 40%, you guys, is a massive drop in mortgage purchase applications. That's just purchase applications. He added that earlier in the coronavirus pandemic, mortgage application also dramatically fell, but they picked back up shortly after. That situation is unlikely in the current state of the U.S. economy. During COVID in spring of 2020, applications also fell 40%, but came roaring back in short order. Such a rebound is unlikely in the current environment. Now, you guys, I can absolutely confirm, being that I work for a mortgage lender, the company that I work for is called Amcap Home Loans. So I could tell you that Amcap Home Loans, they're super strong, super stable. They've saved a lot of money through 2021. So they're doing well. But the thing right now in the mortgage industry, you guys, because it's been so crippling for refinances and purchases, like my company, for example, they're cutting the fat, right? They're monitoring the spending habits, and they're also holding the loan officers at our company more accountable. Now, personally, I love situations like that are tightening like that because it allows us to thrive, right? We got to get back to work. And I love working in an environment where everyone's working super hard. So in many ways, I don't mind, the downfall, but there's going to be a lot of mortgage companies, you guys, not Amcap Home Loans, the company I work for, which is a great company, but other mortgage companies that don't take care of their finances are going to be absolutely gutted in 2022, right? So just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on unemployment. Keep an eye on businesses shutting down. But you guys, right now, the mortgage market is absolutely being wrecked because demand continues to be completely destroyed. Let's keep reading this article right now. It largely boils down to the Federal Reserve raising interest rates to tame soaring inflation. As consumer prices surge, the Fed has deployed more aggressive monetary policy, lifting the benchmark interest rate to 0.5% last month in its first double-sized rate hike, and is set for a series of similar increases this year. But it's barely even started, and yet the housing market's already crumbling, guys. Isn't that astonishing to you how weak our housing market is? Now, this continues. That in turn has priced out prospective home buyers as higher home prices and escalating mortgage rates reduce buyer affordability. And with the U.S. economy predicted to enter a recession in the next year and inflation at a 40-year high, American homeownership is likely to get harder. The National Association of Realtors said housing affordability tumbled a record 29% over the past year, the steepest annual decline on record, as mortgage rates and housing prices shot upward. One economist even said U.S. mortgage applications were in a meltdown as borrowing costs soared. In the week leading up to June, the Mortgage Bankers Association said applications for new purchases fell at a 52% annualized rate compared with the previous 3 months. You guys, so essentially, the Federal Reserve is now fighting runaway inflation that was created by quantitative easing, right? And COVID lockdowns and all of those types of things, and the stimulus and the cheap money. But in essence, quantitative easing is why we're in this situation. CPI just came out Friday higher than anticipated. So we are still not at the peak of inflation. CPI came out at 8.6. It's likely higher than that. The data right now, you guys, is skewed. So it's really important to focus on key trends like affordability, prices, sales, inventory, and things like that to really get a good idea of what's going on in the housing market. And another problem, guys, there are so many opinions that are wrong as a consumer. It's hard to know who to trust. And that is why I keep encouraging you guys. Go to my data source, read these articles, watch the data yourself, become an expert in your local market, right? Because things are changing. There's no denying that things are changing. If someone can't talk about that, especially if they're a realtor or loan officer, if they can't talk about the change or they're denying the change, they should probably get out of the business, because we as licensed professionals have a duty to consumers, right? We got to look after our consumers, our customers. We have to warn them. So I think overall, y'all, and I think I have a right to say this because I'm in the industry, I think professionals are absolutely failing consumers. But I don't necessarily think it's because these professionals are bad people. I don't think people are understanding how quickly things are happening, right? This was a whiplash situation. So people are still processing what happened, right? They go from, in 2022 being really easy to live as far as how much money we were able to get, back into 2022 where it's one of the most expensive times to live. So the whiplash, people can't even fathom how it happened, why it happened, what's going to happen in the future. So that's why I keep saying, guys, do your own thinking for yourself. Do not let other people do the thinking for you. You must decide what you think is going on, right? But not just off of emotions, right? Off of logic, off of data, off of experience, off of history, off of the past, right? Do y'all see what I'm saying, right? How could we not be in a housing market bubble if we had a record, right, historical record equity surge? Equity went up 32%, national average, 32% in less than 2 years. That is historical equity surge, right? So how can we not be in a housing market bubble, right? A bubble meaning excessive equity growth, right? Breaking fundamentals of things like wage growth, right? 32% going up in equity, wage growth maybe 8 to 10%. Do y'all see the problem here? Right? I know y'all see it, but there's still some people that don't see it. Anyways, let's get back to the article right now. A meltdown, in other words, chief economist Ian Shepherdson said. A separate survey echoed gloomy buyer sentiment and recorded that about 80% of the respondents said it had never been a worse time to buy a home. Thank God. Consumers' expectations that their personal financial situations will worsen over the next year reached an all-time high in a May survey, and they expressed greater concern about job security. Good. They should be concerned about job security, guys. But this is yet another data source that is essentially saying consumers are absolutely fed up. And I look at it as like they're going on strike, right? Consumers are sick of this. Things are way too whiplashy. Things are way too expensive right now. People, thank God, are starting to get that. And essentially what that's doing is deteriorating and shattering the fear of missing out. In most metro areas, there's still some metro areas that are completely out of control, but none of those metro areas are immune to a housing market crash. And you guys know I hate using the word crash. And the reason I hate using the word crash is there's too many differences of opinion on what a crash means. Plus, there's different areas of growth depending on the metro area. But when all is said and done, I think there's going to be a crash, but I don't think we need 50% reduction in equity. I don't think we need to go back to 2019 housing values for us to be in a crash. That's my own personal opinion. Can it get worse? Yeah. If it does, I'll be an even bigger winner. But I'm saying I don't see, 50, 20, 15, 20%. Y'all, 15 to 20%, we could get some great deals with that, right? Not to mention buyers incentives, right? And sellers paying closing costs and things of that nature. But anyways, you guys, this is some heavy data. So now we got Freddie Mac coming out. Fannie Mae is already sounding the alarm. Freddie Mac is now sounding the alarm. So I hope you guys are starting to get it. I hope I'm giving you an overwhelming amount of data and information that you can share with your friends and family that are possibly in that fear of missing out still, that are, aggressively purchasing houses over appraisal value. I'm hoping that is done, right? I hope it's done. I'm scared it's not. I think it's still going on in certain metro areas. It's stopped for the most part in Houston, but it's still out there. So you guys just be prepared. Now, if you're out there investing in real estate, I do wish you luck and I hope you win.